And now, the Mickey Mouse Club presents Annette. With Annette Funicello as Annette, Tim Considine as Steve, and David Stollery as Mike. Today's episode, an introduction.
Oh, hello. You may think I'm Mary Wicks, but I'm Katie. I've worked for the same family for 20 years now. They're real nice folks, and we get along just fine. Oh, this is their house. And this is Dr. McLeod. He's a doctor of philosophy, a Ph.D., not a medical doctor. And this is his sister, Lila. In all the 20 years I've worked for the McLeods, I don't know when, if ever, we had such a jolt as we got that morning their niece, Annette, first arrived here in Ashford. You see, she'd come from Nebraska, where she'd been born and raised. Strangely enough, the first person she bumped into was Stephen Abernathy, who happens to be about the best-looking and the most popular boy in town.
Oh, could you tell me where this is?
149 Elm Street. Oh, this is Elm. 149 would be about 6 blocks up that way.
Thank you.
And she almost met Laura Rogan, too, who, as it turned out, was to cause her a lot of trouble, real trouble.
Hi, Steve. Who's your country cousin? Don't tell me she's a kissing cousin.
Oh, don't be silly. I never saw her before. She just wanted an address.
Oh.
Well, as I said before, you could have knocked us over with a feather when she finally arrived at our place and announced that she had come to live with us. What was so upsetting about it was that until she walked in through the front door, we hadn't even known that she existed. Well, well, what do you know? Your brother's little girl. Ah, you must be tired after that long trip. Now, you come on upstairs. You can freshen up.
Well, now, just a minute, Katie.
It's all right, Archie. We'll talk about it later. Take her to the room next to mine, Katie.
Thank you, Aunt Lila.
Dr. McLeod wasn't too happy about Annette's plans to stay here with us. Not that he wasn't a kind man. Oh, actually, he was soft as mush. But the idea of a young lady in the house practically threw him into a tailspin. Annette was pretty impressed with everything. Her room and all. Oh, the poor kid. She wasn't used to much, I guess. Dr. McLeod didn't know much about young people. As a matter of fact, he didn't know anything about them.
That's it, of course. We could send her to a boarding school.
Well, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Huh?
That's a fine way to treat your own flesh and blood, packing her off the minute she gets here.
Now, see here, Katie, we don't know anything about bringing up children.
Well, it's about time you learned. Before he had a chance to pack her off to boarding school, a lot of things happened. And the first thing you know, he changed his mind. Or should we say he had it changed for him, and Annette was here to stay. Now, what started it all was Jet Maypen. She's the youngster who brings us our chickens and eggs. And it didn't take her and Annette any time at all to get together.
Do you live on a farm?
Sure do, only out here we call it a ranch.
I hear you're going to be hanging around for a while. I'm going to live with my aunt and uncle.
No kidding, then you'll be going to school here.
I guess so.
But the next day, still more things happened. Miss Lila took her down to the most exclusive shop in town and fitted her out from A to Izzard. And there they ran into Mrs. Abernathy, Miss Lila's best friend, and her daughter Val, and Val's pal, Moselle Corey.
Lila, what about Annette coming to Val's party? We'd just love to have her.
Well, I think that would be nice. That's very sweet of you, Helen.
Well, wonderful. It'll give her a chance to meet Val's friends. I'll send Stephen for you.
But Stephen had other plans. He was taking Laura to the party. So instead, Mrs. Abernathy sent another boy. A fresh little brat, if there ever was one. Olmsted Ware.
Olmsted where?
Olmsted Ware?
Olmsted where?
Hi.
Well, you must be Olmsted Ware.
In person, but just call me Steady. That's what everyone calls me, except the teachers at school. Pop when he's mad. Old Stevie's mom got things fouled up, so I was elected to drag your niece to the party.
Drag? Now, see here, young man.
That's just a figure of speech, Mr. McCloud. Think nothing of it. She ready? Jeepers.
Steady had just one real love in life. That was food.
Say, how's about stopping at the malt shop for a little libation? It's on the way.
I thought you were broke.
Sure, I'm always broke. Connie condition. But I can either put it on the cuff or float along with Mike.
And here Annette met Mike Martin, who was destined to become one of her best friends.
I will walk you home, and maybe on the way I might hold your hand.
But what'll my uncle say?
From now until vacation, won't you make it a rule to meet me at the malt shop?
I'll meet you at the malt shop.
Meeting at the malt shop after school.
Well, Annette's first party was a howling success.
Take this tip from teacher and you're on your swinging way. Reading, writing, and rhythm, they're the three R's today.
Unfortunately, as the party was winding up, something rather unpleasant happened.
All I know is the necklace is gone, and that McCloud girl was the only one left in this room when we went out to supper.
Well, Annette didn't find out about the necklace being gone until later, because she'd already left the party, you see, when Laura discovered that the necklace was missing. So the next Monday, she started off to school blissfully unaware of the coming trouble. It's a real nice school, and Annette was, of course, tickled to death to be with the kids she'd met at the party, and they were glad to see her, too, especially Stephen. You remember Steady, the boy who took Annette to Val's party? Well, he tried, but he simply couldn't whip up any enthusiasm about school. He was even less enthusiastic about Kitty Blaylock, who never gave him a minute's peace.
You're cute, Steady.
You're pretty repulsive yourself.
Gee, Steady, that's the nicest thing you ever said to me.
Jet and Annette were in the same classroom, so naturally they decided to have lunch together. And what did they talk about? Well, what would you talk about if you were a girl? Maybe it wasn't such a good idea for Annette to pair off with Jet like that, because it sort of separated her from the rest of the girls.
Anyway, I don't think it's up to us to drag over here, especially after what happened at the party the other night. Laura, well, you didn't find my necklace, did you?
Yes, Laura really believed that Annette had taken her necklace. Partly because she was a new girl in town, and partly because she was jealous of her.
Laura!
Well, thanks for standing me up. I thought we had a tennis date, but I see you have something more important to do.
Now, wait a minute. Oh, my gosh, I completely forgot about it. Look, I'll get in touch with you later. I've got to apologize.
Sure, I understand.
It was Steady who came up with an idea for straightening things out.
What is this, the Annette McCloud Admiration Society?
Oh, Laura, don't be like that. All we're trying to do is make you understand that Annette couldn't possibly...
You don't need to tell me anything about that one. I know exactly what she is. Apparently she's got you fellows bamboozled, but she's not fooling me one bit. Not one little bit.
You and your bright ideas.
But they almost came to blows about it over in the malt shop one day.
Look, Val, you turned the house upside down and you didn't find it.
Please, Laura, let's not discuss it.
Oh, Val, my necklace is gone, and as much as I hate to say it, somebody knows more than they're telling.
Please, Laura.
I'm sorry, Moselle, but I believe in being frank about things, and I think whoever took it should return it. You're not insinuating that any of us took your necklace, are you? I'm not insinuating anything. Frankly, I don't care who it was or why they took it. All I want is my necklace back.
Boy, for a minute there, I thought we were going to have a real hair-pulling match.
Come on, Jet, let's get out of here and get some fresh air.
Annette felt she just couldn't go on any longer. So she packed her things and prepared to go back to Nebraska, even though it broke her heart to leave her aunt and uncle, whom she'd learned to love very much.
Lila! She's gone. Annette's gone.
Gone? What do you mean?
She's run away. Here, she left a note. Here, read it yourself.
Oh, dear. She's gone back to Beaver Junction. What are we going to do?
Well, that's easy. I'll just rush right down to the station and haul her back.
Station? What station?
Well, she has to catch the train to get to Beaver Junction, doesn't she?
Oh, yes, of course.
I just hope I'm not too late.
Yeah, well, hurry, hurry!
Look, kids, I can't tell you everything that happened, so why don't you come back tomorrow? Meet Annette, see how it all turned out, huh?
Next episode, the newcomer.